Welcome to the Swiss booth at ISC24 in Hamburg, Germany. I'm here with Jack Dongarra and Torsten Hoefler, two people that really don't need any introduction. So I'll start with Jack. Jack, Switzerland was back in the top 10, or is back in the top 10 of the top 500. So I would like to ask you, how do you see the future of the top 500? We are hearing a lot of things. The Moore laws is dead, is not dead, is dying. So what is your view of the future of the top 500?
So the top 500 has been around since 1993, and it comes out twice a year, as everybody knows. It really shows trends in high-performance computing. So it has a lot of value in terms of what it's predicting. You know, it describes where we've been. We have a whole history of supercomputing that goes back 30-plus years. And I think it's important to maintain that trend and that level of statistics so that we can plot a course for the future. Now, the LINPACK benchmark, which is, of course, the basis for the top 500, is only one metric that we have. And we really have a need for other metrics. So we have developed a number of benchmarks that hopefully can fill in some of the places that are missed by looking at that. And you have to realize that, you know, this benchmark started way back actually in the late 70s. And at that time, when you look at computing, the floating point was very expensive. And today that's not the case. Today floating point is really, I'll say, over-provisioned. We have too much floating point capacity. And the thing that really is lacking is the bandwidth. So the bandwidth causes many of the applications that are run on our high-performance machines to slow down. So we need benchmarks which can perhaps probe at that level, trying to understand things. And we have developed something called the HPCG benchmark. HPCG does a different algorithm than the LINPACK benchmark. It still solves a system of linear equations. It probes the bandwidth issues at a deeper level and gives us a better understanding. And just to put that in context, LINPACK shows a level of performance that's pretty close to the peak performance, and the other benchmark shows performance which is really just a few percent of that peak performance. And that's really the level of performance we see from many applications, which really reflects the case that those applications have bandwidth demands.
So, well, the conclusion is that top 500 and the LINPACK benchmark still has a value and will remain for the foreseeable future. Torsten, AI, machine learning. So where are we there with benchmarking similar to HPL or something like that?
Well, the beauty of the HPL benchmark is actually that it has been constant for the last several decades. So we have a long history, as Jack just said. It is really the development of the development of society, the development of country, the availability of compute. We have this history that shows how various countries develop. So now with the AI benchmarks, that is not necessarily the case. So in the AI benchmarks, unfortunately, many of those keep changing. So there were various ones with smaller deep neural networks, CNNs, now much of that shifted to transformers. And so it's really hard to understand how to keep track of this development. So that would be something that we should probably work on to standardize one thing to measure. And Jack has actually made an attempt to standardize this together with Piotr Luszczek with the HPL MXP, the multi-precision benchmark, where you can use low precision data types to pump up to higher precision results, essentially. And we've seen also in this top 500 list, I mean, it's not the top 500 list, but the top 500 MXP list, that new computers are coming online. For example, the Aurora system now claiming spot number 1.
Yeah, so this is a good thing. We will simply evolve the benchmark stack, but we will still need those benchmarks. This is a given. Jack, we hear a lot of hyper about HPC, AI. What is the future of HPC in relation to AI and machine learning? I really would like to know, to hear about your vision for the future.
So, today I see machine learning and AI techniques playing an important role in scientific computing. They provide tools which can allow us to get an insight into the computational development there, and they can do it in a way that provides much quicker approximations to solutions. And the way I see this is that the machine learning provides us with an approximation quickly, and then we can take that approximation using conventional techniques to refine the solution that we would get if we just started off with that conventional method going to conclusion. But it allows us to get there much quicker. So machine learning is a valuable tool that computational scientists are using and will continue to use in the future to allow us to do better than we're doing today. So it's another tool that's on our belt that we can take out and apply to applications. So I see it as a very valuable tool. It's impacting almost every area of computational science today, and I see that growing in the future.
So, but then HPC, the high-performance computing is needed no matter what.
It's not going to go away.
It's not going to go away.
We're not going to throw away the traditional things. We're going to augment them.
Yeah. Torsten, what would you add to that?
Well, I would add, this is actually, I absolutely agree. It's not going away because AI is essentially a subtopic of HPC. So in AI, most computations care about high performance. They have slightly different requirements than the traditional scientific computing and simulation use that we have been driving HPC with. But I believe it's just becoming a new driver for the same community, moving forward with the speed we had. And as Jack just suggests, even for the traditional scientific computing and modeling and simulation workloads, it is a huge opportunity because there's an extremely large market behind that is in fact already bigger than the traditional workloads. It's all HPC, but the AI subset of this is bigger than the traditional simulation workload. And this is driving computer architecture into the future. So we now have a huge opportunity taking these new architectures coming out of AI machines in HPC. And by the way, high-performance computing has constantly done that. Yeah. So we have been using PlayStation machines built for graphics rendering. GPUs, the origin of GPUs was graphics rendering. We are going to do, as a community, exactly the same thing with artificial intelligence. As Jack suggests, he suggests one particular method. There are many other methods that we can use to drive that forward in very much a similar way.
But this is a very, very nice and interesting view of the future, which we are all very happy. Torsten, I go to you back now. For a small country like Switzerland, 7 million inhabitants, what does it mean to have a system like Alps? So is again in the top 10 of the top 500?
So this is a very interesting question. As you mentioned, Switzerland is one of the smaller countries. But you could now say that the availability of compute to scientists and the population in general is actually somewhat an index of the advancement of a society. So we in Switzerland are very lucky to have one of the largest compute capability per person on the planet, actually. And this is something that will drive the future of Switzerland, which always has been a very innovative country in many, many different ways. So I hope this remains like this, that we can be at the forefront of high-performance computing and artificial intelligence in the future.
Jack, I will ask you the same question because Torsten is a professor of ETH, so is Swiss, and he has to see the future positively. But what about you? What do you think should be the role of Switzerland in the high-performance computing and AI?
Well, so Torsten just made an interesting point. I hadn't realized that Switzerland has the most flops per population. So the most flops per pop is located there in Switzerland. As a country. And I think that's a great thing. I think, science is being driven today by simulation. That simulation is being performed on high-performance machines augmented with machine learning. And to have the fastest computers allow the scientists in Switzerland and in the areas around it that can access that machine, really the capability, the potential to solve very challenging problems and to push science forward. Without that computer, I would say we would not make as much progress overall in Switzerland and in other countries that are making use of it. So again, high-performance machines are important for science. Having the best supercomputers can drive science forward.
Thank you very much. I would like to thank again Jack and Torsten, and I hope to see you again at Supercomputing with some news to discuss about.
Very good.